Welcome back. All right, so TEG video today before I head to, and I've seen people talking about the costs of Disneyland and it's so expensive and how can you afford that yada yada or even don't go to Disneyland because um, honestly I spent the first 45 years of my life not going places, and Disneyland's a lot of fun. I enjoy going there. I'm going with my wife. We take vacations twice a year, and we like to do things that are on the West Coast. And what's more fun than that? We're staying at a Disney property, so you get a discount at certain stores when you do that, and yeah, we have a great experience. One thing that's great with Disneyland too is that when you get your park ticket, it covers everything. So a lot of fairgrounds and things like the PNE here, if you want to hit the rides, the unlimited ride pass is like about $50, and then it's $20 for entry, and then it's the PNE, which is not on the same level as Disneyland at all. And so yeah, I'll go to Disney. I'm gonna have some fun with it, and yeah. So for people who are in that area, hopefully we get to see you on Tuesday. We're having a meetup on Tuesday. It won't be street hockey. We don't do street hockey in California unless it's not a million degrees, and it's going to be a million degrees while we're there. So no street hockey this time around. But I want to talk about what we've been watching. We being my wife and I, and the shows that we've caught recently have been. So we watched every episode of Too Hot to Handle. And what's interesting is this year's Too Hot to Handle felt different. They added a new wrinkle to the show where there were free rule breaks and all this. So it's a show where basically if you keep your hands off each other, you get $250,000. They didn't get $250,000. They ended up with, I think it was $125,000. So I've never understood that because honestly, if you put me in that situation, like, all right, now everybody keep their hands off each other, I'd be like, all right, done, no problem. But it felt different because they added a wrinkle where there were two people that the first night they kicked out of the villa and they sent them into like this banishment situation, and so everybody kind of behaved after that. It was a completely different feeling. I thought it was better. To be honest, I thought it was a much better show this year. I always thought Too Hot to Handle was really salacious and kind of, I don't know. I didn't like the fact either that they'd lie to people about where they were and what show they were on. And this time that wasn't the case. These were people who were saying, yeah, no, I haven't had good, fulfilling relationships. I need to get myself under control here. And I thought it went really, really well. I did. I don't think any of the couples are going to last. I'll throw that out there. But I did think it went really quite well. We finished up Farming for Love last night, too. So that's the Canadian version of Farmer Takes a Wife. And man, I felt bad. There was one young lady that was turned down by one of the farmers, and she was mad, and she was right to be mad. The way he broke it off with her, you're a very strong woman, and you've got all these very big dreams. So I'm not going to get in your way. Go experience those things. Man, you seem awesome. Not for me. Out you go. That's how it came across to me. She was mad, and she shook his hand, and he said after in one of those isolated interviews, I never knew you could impart so much anger in a handshake. Anger and disappointment in a handshake. Like, yeah, dude, watch your tires, because she's going to slash them on her way out. Just, man, that was brutal. Most of the farmers picked people that I didn't necessarily agree with. There were three picks. Actually, altogether there were four farmers. I didn't necessarily think that people picked the right people, but it's not for me to say. It's up to them. So all the best to them, especially since they live locally. So hey, hopefully everything works out really well. The mole. I finished the mole. I was wrong. I was wrong. I had the wrong person for the mole the whole season. I was so sure. And the fact that that person got all the way to the final, I was so sure. I was like, it's got to be. It has to be. And I was wrong. I was wrong. The one person I thought, well, it can't be because they're really, really bad at this. Nope, that was the mole. So I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but that was fantastic. And of course, we're talking about season two. I didn't watch season one because I already know who won the first season. I already know who the mole was as well. So there's no point in me watching it when I already know who the mole is. Although that being said, going back and watching season two again, knowing who the mole is, could be kind of fun. That could be kind of fun to see and go, yeah, that's where he screwed up. That's where they screwed up. That's where they did this, and real like I'm just talking about like the quizzes, and yeah, just absolutely crazy, 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 crazy. I got a laugh out of this. So Gen Z, which of course is the youngins coming up, they apparently discovered the lyrics to Cannibal Corpse. The clue is in the name. It's death metal. I don't like death metal. I've never liked death metal. I've never been a fan of it. But Cannibal Corpse has been around since the 90s, haven't they? And they're still around. Their current lead singer, apparently is an expert at the claw machine, and he gets all kinds of stuffies and then donates them to charity. I think that's great. It may not be great for the places with those claw machines because he's cleaned them out, getting probably $2 a play, and cleans them all out. And there you go. But great guy. And honestly, I thought we were past song lyrics offending people. I didn't think that was a thing anymore, but here we are. So don't get into Cannibal Corpse if you're not willing to realize that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They're not advocating for all these things. It's just the one way that I saw it was that they write it like it's a horror movie. They write their songs like it's a horror movie. It's not for everybody, but taking offense at lyrics, it's just weird to me because. And I saw a post too saying, hopefully they don't find early 90s, mid 90s gangster rap. Yeah. I remember back when Tupac and Biggie were going back and forth at each other. And a friend of mine was really into their music. So he would play me this song, go, this one's about Tupac. This one's about Biggie. This one, I'm like, holy crow. Like just some of the things they were saying, I was like, that's wow. So yeah, it's best if people, people that are worried about lyrics. I really thought we were past that. It's just now I'm just waiting for Dungeons and Dragons to be bad again. Waiting for the satanic panic around D&D. I never really played D&D, but I remember the panic around it. And honestly, the only reason I tried D&D was because there were a whole bunch of groups on TV screaming about how evil it was, and I'm like, that sounds like fun. Let's see what this does. And it didn't do anything. It was a thing that I played a couple of times, and I didn't really get anything out of it. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Also in sports news, the White Sox announced that they fired their manager and 3 coaches. The team lost 21 games in a row. They did not break the record. I'm kind of sad they didn't break the record. I was ready to start getting White Sox stuff when they broke the record. They didn't break the record. So instead I got this fancy Montreal Expos hat, which I have an Expos hat somewhere, but it's not very good quality, so I wanted to get a new one. It almost matches this shirt. Very, very close to matching this shirt. It's close. So yeah, the White Sox make that move there. Obviously not a World Series champion this year, and gunning for maybe the worst record in a while in baseball. A long while. I could do a video on that at some point too, on just some ineptitude when it comes to baseball teams. Because when it goes bad in a 162 game season, it goes bad forever. Like it'd be like, we're just rolling down a mountain. Yeah, 10,000 feet, and it just never stops. There's no stop, and that's what it feels like when it's a 162 game schedule. It's just nauseating, and there's no end. I've been asked about SummerSlam. I was asked about this on the Hockey Channel yesterday, so I'll mention it here. I thought the WWE hit it out of the park. What I like with WWE storytelling right now is everything's connected, and everything's connected in a way that doesn't feel forced. And it all feels organic. There's long-term storytelling there. There's not really the hot shot booking going on, where there's a bunch of random matches. I thought the Wyatt 6 debut too on Raw, that was so well done. I hope this is Dexter Lumis's chance to really become an upper card talent. He's been a mid carder for a long time. So I really like what they're doing there. I think that the Rhea and Priest turns have been perfect. Drew McIntyre is still my favorite person in the company. I think he's absolutely hilarious. I think the way that he trolls fans, the way that he trolls other wrestlers, the way that he's just living his best life right now. And if they don't give him the title at some point, what are we doing? And Roman Reigns' return was great. What I liked with SummerSlam 2 was almost everything that happened you could see coming. It didn't make it any less impactful. And that's when you know it's a good show, is when you go, I think this person's going to win. And when they do, you still cheer, your jaw drops, that kind of thing. So WWE is just doing so well right now. Excited to see what they do with the Lucha Bros. The Lucha Bros are supposed to be coming over from AEW, and I think in WWE they could really help that tag division. I tried watching Dynamite last night. I was watching it during the live stream that we were doing last night on the Hockey Channel. But as soon as that live stream was done, I don't know. I just didn't have that much interest in it. It's so WWE have all this long term storytelling. AEW does too on some level, but it just I'm not drawn in. I'm not drawn in. I don't find it all that entertaining and interesting. I watched as Bryan Danielson and Jeff Jarrett went out and had a pretty good street fight of a match, but like just I don't know. I think sometimes the way that the wrestling's done in AEW looks more staged. And that's a tricky balance with wrestling is everybody knows it's predetermined, but it shouldn't look staged. And there were times where I felt like it looked kind of staged. Now, there was an obvious moment at SummerSlam where Priest rolls Gunther to the ropes for no reason. And the reason being so Finn can put Gunther's leg on the rope. That's tough. And there are times where somebody gets up on the top rope and you can see the person who's prone in the ring scooching over. Like, I got to get in place. I'm not in the right place. I got to scooch. That is funny when that happens. But, yeah, it just, I don't know. AEW doesn't, it's not doing it for me. It's just not. I'm trying. Because I see the comments of, oh, he just hates AEW. I don't find it compelling. I don't find it interesting, especially when WWE's doing so well. And the ratings for AEW during the Olympics have been low. So yeah, the Disneyland trip starts tomorrow. Obviously, the Olympics have been fantastic. Big success for Canada at the Olympics. Nice to see Canadians winning medals in events that Canadians don't generally win medals in. Men and women's hammer throw. Awesome. Absolutely fantastic. Lots of fun, and I hope the athletes are having a good time. The one thing that does throw me off at the Paris Olympics, though, is I watched a report on how dirty the water in the River Seine is. I don't know how you put anybody in there for a triathlon and feel good about yourself. I don't. I don't know how this happened. I don't know where the screw up is, but that river is filthy. And so, like, I do not understand having any swimming events. I was getting sick to my stomach just watching and thinking about that. There was a point where they said, so, swimmers doing triathlon, they're swallowing mouthfuls of this water. And I'm like, oh, gosh, no, ick, gross, ew. Like, there's trash on the river. There's fecal contamination in the river. I'm not going to go further, but it's gross. And so that to me is kind of overshadowed. And it doesn't look clean either. It's not like it's this crystal clear water and you go, wow, I'm really surprised it's dirty. Nah. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. So that puts a bit of a damper on some of the events that have been held with that. But in general, it's been a lot of fun to watch. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. And again, this channel is going to be pretty busy over the next week. I do want to do live streams from the park, so look forward to that. I'm going to try not to be obnoxious about it. I've noticed that there are Disney YouTubers who have this whole setup. They have multiple phones and they have all these things that they're carrying around with them, and I think that's got to be kind of obnoxious for people in the park. So I'm going to try to make it just my phone and just keep it as simple as possible. And yeah, so looking forward to that. Hope you have a good day. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.